talking about. The other figures now that they mentioned, they took note that Chebukati claimed that Raila Odinga attained 25% of votes in 34 counties, while William Ruto attained 25% in 39 counties. The question is then, which figures in the 34 and 39 counties constitutes to the variables that warranted Chebukati to make that conclusion? That's their argument. The conclusion of 25% in 34 counties and 25% in 39 counties for Raila and Ruto respectively. Did what Chebukati announced did it open a door to legal challenges? Already we are seeing the four commissioners challenging Chebukati's announcement, and they're also raising now other issues that were happening behind closed doors. I can start to you, Professor Omenya.
No, thank you for this. And I remember yesterday when we were discussing on this same show, and the question came whether there was a case in the first instance. My position was again that look, I mean, for now we don't have adequate information to even make that layman decision whether that's the case or not. But my argument still was that the reason why the Supreme Court is there and all these legal processes are there is so that people can seek redress on the basis of the information they have. And I said, look, let's not speculate, because the four commissioners were there. And Azimio as a party has been there across the entire process. They've not had a chance to explain exactly what could have gone wrong with that particular process. And my position was that we should give them a chance to actually highlight, the issues that they actually had. Because on the periphery of it, I mean, fellows were doing joint tallying on the basis of 34 A's and B's that were uploaded in the system and saying, oh, there's some sort of concurrence as it were with the result that was announced. But then, we come to a very basic issue here, actually, and let me revisit the percentage issue again, because I think it is still going to be an issue. I'm actually declaring a percentage, and some votes have not actually come in. So the percentage I'm declaring, what is it exactly? Is it a percentage of the votes I've counted versus the votes cast, or is it a percentage of the votes I've counted? Yes, of the votes I've counted. The votes that a candidate has received versus the votes I've counted. Of course, we expect that this will be a percentage of the votes cast. The votes have counted as a percentage of the votes cast, because every single vote cast must actually be accounted for as it actually were. Yeah, and in a close election, and I think this is something that we've been discussing across board. We discussed this about the media tallying and so on, and I think one of the reasons why the media was very afraid to announce their results was that this election was always close. Yes. And any simple error could materially change the outcome of the election. And that's why we agreed that, yes, let the media be called cowards, but the risk of announcing a wrong result because of inaccuracies in tallying, should be avoided at all costs. So yes, people can create all these bats of jokes and whatever it is, but even the final result that has come out there, 233,000 nationally, with so many votes not counted, with elections cancelled in a few areas here and there, is significant in my view. And that means that there's duty of care that is expected of IBC to determine when this win is actually a clear win. And I think when commissioners are coming in and saying, look here, regardless of the legalese, look here, whatever has been declared by the commission is contestable in terms of whether the candidate that won in this particular instance, President-elect Ruto, whether he could have still won if all these factors were considered. And I think it's important because that margin is actually close. It's very close. But whether you look at it as percentage or you look at it in terms of absolute votes. And I think in any contest, when the contest is very, very close, and the rules then become more and more important. Yes. Yeah. And that's partly why I feel that what Azimio is doing is actually the correct thing. Sorry to, in a layman's term, and I keep referring to soccer rules, you can imagine a situation where a team wins by 1 goal, you know, in the 99 minutes, and that goal is actually a penalty that was given on the basis of a player touching the ball, and nobody actually saw that the player touching the ball.
That's why they introduced the VAR.
That is exactly, that's so close. So you have to go back and scrutinize and look at the VAR and, you know, summon all these guys and so on and verify whether that was a goal. But of course, if you have been beaten 10-0 and this is one of the goals, it's very easy to just ignore the outcome of that match, because it would not fundamentally change the outcome and the result. And that's why I think, regardless of what the Kenya Kwanza people feel, we are starting to hear information, to get stories, to find what is missing in terms of, you know, information that could, I'm not saying they would, but that could potentially change the result of this election, since it was too close. And I think that's partly why you know, the Azimio side must also be given a chance to explain their position and why they think that, you know, if those issues were addressed, both in terms of how the commission conducted itself and in terms of the actual numbers and figures that were put on the table, that maybe the outcome of this election could be materially different.